I just harvested my rhubarb and we're going to make some rhubarb jam, and it's pretty simple. You're only going to need 2 ingredients, your rhubarb and some sugar. Now I have tried in the past to make rhubarb jam using something other than organic cane sugar. I tried with honey and it just doesn't sweeten this. It's very, very tart. So first of all, I harvested all the canes and cut off the leaves and washed the rhubarb. And then I cut it on a very steep angle to get as much of the inside showing so it cooks down faster. So I got it all cut up on a very steep angle. And then I just placed it in a pot and we're going to simmer this on a low heat. So for the rhubarb jam, I have approximately 7 cups of sliced up rhubarb in a large stock pot with 3 to 4 tablespoons of water. Don't use too much water. The lid is on and it's been on a medium heat, and I'm going to leave it on that for about 10 to 15 minutes till it simmers down to about halfway. Okay, so it's been about 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to take the lid off, and you can see it's simmered down to about halfway. There's nothing in this yet. It's just the rhubarb and the little bit of water that we put in. So you can see now the rhubarb has softened to a point where you can flake it with your fork. And now it's time to keep the lid off and add in the sugar. Now it's extremely hard to avoid using sugar when it comes to rhubarb jam because it's just really bitter. If you want to reduce the amount of sugar that you're using, you can add in some fruit like apples or strawberries or something else that's sweeter. But if you want straight rhubarb jam, you're going to need sugar. I've tried honey and other things, it just doesn't cut the tartness. So I have 7 cups of rhubarb here, and I'm going to put in a cup and a half of sugar. Now, this is actually not a sweet jam with a cup and a half of sugar. It's still going to be a little tart, which is fine. If you want it sweeter, you're going to have to add more sugar, so it's best to avoid these types of jams if you'd prefer to avoid sugar. Okay, so now I'm just going to keep it on a medium heat and stir in this sugar. Once the sugar is fully incorporated, you can taste it for sweetness at this point, and it will end up being just a little bit sweeter because it's going to boil down and thicken, so it'll concentrate it just a little bit. So you want to just stir it all in, and all we're going to do now is just wait another 10 to 15 minutes for it to thicken, and while we're doing that, we can sterilize our jam jars. For me, this is a perfect sweetness, still quite tart, but you can still taste the rhubarb. It's not all sugar, and it's a nice sweetness. For most, you're probably going to want to add a little more sugar. So about 10 to 15 minutes later, you'll see the bubbles breaking the surface like a lava, and most of the moisture has been reduced. There's not a lot of water left in this. And now it's time to bottle it up. So now I'm just going to ladle it into my bottles. There we go. While it's nice and hot. There we go. We'll wipe off any mess around the lid. You may want to wear gloves because it will be hot. And the bottles are hot as well. And then just place your lids on loosely and wait to hear them pop.